Hi crafty friends, Irene here with Artemis Made, and I would like to welcome you to the new release hop for Trinity Stamps. This is the first release of 2025. Isn't that exciting? And there is an opportunity for you to win a $25 gift certificate if you fill out the form. I will link below the form that you need, but make sure that you stick around. I'll give you a little bit more information. So right here you see this new release. This is just part of it. It's a huge new release and it has so much fun stuff in it. But today I am playing with this this extra cheese stamp and die set. I just think it's adorable. There's something about little critters with faces on them that just makes me happy. It makes my soul smile. So, and then of course these are food too, which makes it even better. I mean, gosh, I love cheese. So this set has, you'll see here a charcuterie board or a cutting board. It's got a grater. It's got little cheese and crackers. It's got so much fun stuff. And it also has a stamp set that you could purchase to go along with it called Brie-lliant Sentiments. Brie like the cheese. Yeah, puns. I live for puns. And it just has so many cheesy puns, and they are perfect for this stamp set. I love it so much. So here I stamped up my little elements that I want to use, and I went ahead and colored them with Copic markers off camera, just to kind of try to keep the time down on this video here. So I am going to die cut them out, and I'm only using a few of them that are fully colored, but you'll see I'm going to use more of these in here in just a little bit. So I'm going to cut these out, and then I'm using my little mini die cutting machine to run them through. And I like to make myself a template first whenever I'm cutting something like this, because I just spent the time coloring it. I don't want to accidentally cut through it just because something slipped or anything went a little wonky on me. So I always like using a template first. And then I actually take the template that I cut out and I glue it to my actual colored piece to give it a little bit more sturdiness there. Now I have to tell you, this is something that I wanted to point out. In my opinion, this is how you can tell that you're working with a quality die set. You see how I poked out that little hole there, and there's these little holes that I'm pointing out here? It's these tiny, tiny little areas that are in between legs and arms, and it's like these little bitty areas where a lot of a lesser quality die might just cut out the shape all the way around it. But the Trinity dies take the time to actually cut out these little spaces to really make your images dynamic. And I love that. To me, that is a quality die set. And of course, it cuts beautifully, but still that little bit of extra, that's everything to me. So, all right, now I'm moving on to my background. I am going to grab several of my little cheesy friends here, and I am looking for the ones that are smiling, because there are some, that you might send for a get well card, or, sorry, you're feeling blue cheese. But there are several smiley ones too, and those are the ones that I'm using today. So I'm just kind of laying them out, and you notice because of the way I'm doing my background stamp, whenever you're doing something like this, you want to start in the middle and then work your way out. It's much easier to fill in these different areas if you start in the middle and kind of cluster them around the center, and then you fill in those outer spaces as you go. Just much easier to do it that way. Now I'm doing some tone on tone stamping here because I want my background to be visible, but I don't want it to overpower what's going to be a kind of a quiet focal point with my little grater. So I'm just doing the wheat ink, and I'm stamping it onto wheat cardstock. So you can see it there, and it tones down just a little bit more because it dries back. But you can see there, it's going to be perfectly visible and nicely tone on tone. So I finished my panel, and then I used my Cricut to cut out a letter H, which I actually have the letter H upside down right now, but I'll figure that out eventually. I thought it would be fun to take the little grater and make a word with an H and an I, because I think the grater looks like a little I. So with the handle, it kind of looks like the dot on the I. So there we go. Now, this is the Simply Sentimental Friend Stamp and Die Set. I love the dies in particular because they work, the shadow layer of the die can actually cut out the stamped image or the stamped word, but it also has a die for the word. So it's a really versatile line of stamps. The Simply Sentimental set is fabulous. There are words for every occasion, and they're in different scripts too, which I think is great. All right, so I cut out Friend, you saw there on the side, and I went ahead and layered up 3 of the friend die and then 3 of the friend shadow. Now I am pulling in from another recent release, the Emergency Card Essentials die sets. And I am doing that because I really like the beveled edging that you see on the panel that I'm cutting right here. I'm going to hold it up so you can kind of see that beveled edge. I know it's white, but it's just beautiful. It's such a pretty edge. And I like it because it's, even though this is like a fun and playful card and a beveled edge tends to be a little more formal, it doesn't overpower anything. So it just gives it a really nice finished clean look. So I trimmed down my panel here and I am going to glue it onto my white beveled edge panel. And I had to leave you all a little message. Hi. Hi friends. All the love. All right, so let's glue this one down here. And you see, it's okay that I cut off, a little face here and there. It's totally fine. It just blends into the background. And I am putting it on top of a cobblestone card base. Cobblestone I thought would be good because it's kind of like a warm gray. So since I've got gray in my grater, but I'm also using yellows and oranges for the cheeses, I thought a warm gray would be a nice touch. That way it is still kind of blending with the warm tones of the yellows, but covering the grays as well. All right, now in those emergency card kit die sets, there are these 2 very cool dies. This one in particular is a super easy to use pop-up mechanism. And all you do is just cut it out and bend it basically at the score lines. It is that simple. And you make a little triangle and then that will go inside of your card and it will create a pop-up element. So I cut it out of the cobblestone cardstock because I wanted it to match. And then I also used a die, the diamond die that is, I should say a hexagon die that is also in the Emergency Card Essentials die set. And that fits beautifully on top of the pop-up mechanism. So that's actually going to be what's popping out of the card when it gets opened. Now I like using my magnets to kind of hold it in place for a little bit, give it a chance to adhere, and that's where I'm going to put now my hexagon. So I kind of play with it first to make sure that I've got it in the right spot, and then I'm going to glue it down. Now, again, this is one of those things you just kind of want to press it down carefully, make sure that it closes right, and then maybe hold a magnet down on it or something just to keep it sturdy there. And there you go. You can see it is opening and closing perfectly. And so now you're kind of seeing my card coming together. This is the front that I'm envisioning here. It says, "Hi, friend." So I used another circle from that same emergency set. I die cut it in vellum. And so now I'm going to put down my H and my grater that is turned into the letter I. And then I'm going to glue down the word friend. So the front of my card says, "Hi, friend." And I just think it's friendly and happy and, cheesy, but in a good way. I love cheesy stuff. Why not? So I like that there's just a little pop of yellow. I think it plays well with the wheat, like craft cardstock. And it also is going to be a nod to the colors inside of the card. So now I wanted to take another sentiment that brings in a pun because, again, I live for puns, and it says, "You're a great friend." So I stamped it out, and then I'm going to use another one of the dies. I told you I use this set a lot. I'm going to use another one of those dies to cut out the sentiment strip. So the "You're a great friend" is going to go inside of my card. Now, one great thing I would recommend whenever you are trying to work a pop-up mechanism, have some removable adhesive of some sort so that you can kind of move your different elements around to make sure that wherever you place it, it's not going to stick out of the card when it's closed, and that it's not going to block your card from closing when you try to close it. So you see how I hung up a little bit there. So I just slid it up a little to make sure that it was okay. And then I opened and closed it several times just to be certain that I was able to get that mechanism flowing without any kind of hiccups there. So I stuck my sentiment way at the top because I wanted that to be the popping out moment. So you open it up, it says, "You're a great friend." And then I've got my charcuterie board down, and I'm going to put my little dancing happy cracker and cheese here. And then I'm going to add one more little cheesy guy, and he's doing a little finger guns. He's saying, hey, which I got to tell you, I had to laugh when I saw that because I don't know. I went through a phase about 2 years ago where I couldn't stop myself from doing these little hey finger guns at everyone. I don't know what my deal was. I could not stop. So this guy made me laugh because I was like channeling Irene from, circa 2022. So here is my finished card. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure to hop along with us, or at least visit the playlist and check out all the other videos. Visit Instagram, see what we've got there for you. This release is incredible. And make sure you grab the form link that is in my description box, and make sure you apply for the prize at the end of the month. We will be running the prize through the 6th of February. And the winners will be announced on the 7th. So thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I hope you've had a lot of fun. I hope you are encouraged to grab some paper and craft something that really makes you smile. Thanks again. Have a great day. Bye.